have a casual setting for everyone to come together and discuss on the hottest topics on the trends and discussions in Singapore. So today we will discuss about the future of retail. And it's no secret that the retail industry has been ever-changing, faced with a lot of challenges. So we'd like to hear from our panel of speakers, how do they transform these challenges into opportunities. So today we are very honored to have Ms. Angela May, a key personality and owner of Shaking Cafe. And we also have Ms. Jane Hia, the CEO and founder of Keith Cafe. And next we also have Mr. Hiroshi Sensaki, the Managing Director of ABC Cooking Schools. Mr. Brixton Jerome, the Director and Co-founder of Propel Auto Singapore, will be joining us slightly later. So without further ado, maybe just invite each of the speakers to give a brief introduction of yourself and your business. Maybe you can start with Angela. Hi! Oh, it's a very casual setting, so if you have any questions or strong opinions that you wish to express, please feel free to voice out during the event. Yeah, good.
Okay, so starting with me. This is stressful. Hi. And so we're hoping that this is quite interactive as well. So feel free to ask me anything at any point of time. So yes, I am Ange from Ange Cafe. We're just right across the road at Glass House by DHM. So we are a multi-concept restaurant on the corner of Orchard and Cane Hill. And my restaurant has been there for about 2 years. And I guess we'll get into a few things later on. But it opened up first as Angela May Food Chapters, and then rebranded earlier this year. This year? I think it's this year. As Ange Cafe, so a bit more casual and a bit more light and airy for Orchard Road.
I guess it's me. I'm Jane from Kith Cafe. I started it in 2009, right in a tiny corner of Robertson Quay. So that's the first outlet. Today, 9.5 years later, we have 8 outlets today. So that's where I met Andrew, making coffees for him back in the day. Over to you.
Okay, this is Hiroshi Sensaki from Japanese. So we run a cooking studio originated from Japan. Now we have 150 outlets in 9 different countries. We came to Singapore 3 years plus ago, and we're happy to have close to 10,000 members coming to our space to learn Japanese cuisine and baking, pastry and bread. We try to create a community for the cooking and baking lovers, and also those people who want to have a creative lifestyle to enjoy their time. So happy to know all of you.
I'm a little bit different from them. Most of them are from the F&B industry. I'm from the dental. I'm the original distributor for the orthodontic devices from USA, and my job is to open different countries and to assist and help them in promoting the orthodontic devices to the dentists. Also to we also talk about guest services and a bit of a retail in this area as well.
Okay, so just a question to Ms. Jane Hia. Despite the ever-changing retail scene, like Keith Cafe has been able to grow from a single outlet to one that's a very popular retail cafe within a short span of 9 years. So what are some challenges that you have faced during your growing process of expanding your business, and how would you suggest that one as an entrepreneur or one who already have a long-standing business, how would you adapt and keep pace with the changing consumer preferences?
Wow. Challenges along the way is I don't know where to start. So I started it, so I did everything. I opened the store every day, make my coffee, mop my own floor, close the shop, day in, day out, staff come or not, then it's just me. It's always me. So everybody's like, oh yeah, you used to make coffee for me. Yeah, I never knew you were the owner, you know, I thought you were a staff. I'm like, So fast forward today, I think the one key thing I learned is that the brand needs to be strong. That if you just consistently and be focused and build on the same brand, to be recognized, and you put all your efforts through one brand. So I think that's how Kith has differentiated itself over the last 9.5 years. So when I opened, there weren't many indie cafes, things like that. So a lot of people opened during that time. Then at that time, there were people who followed the direction where they opened 4 or 5 cafes and all under a different brand name. You know, this cafe, it's called this name and that, but actually all run by the same group. Whereas I just stuck on to Kith, and then my second outlet, I also thought maybe change name, right? In the end, I ran out of time and couldn't think of anything. Okay, you know what? It's just gonna be Kith. So then it's just Kith and Kith and Kith. And fast forward today, then people recognize the brand. It's easier to, oh yes, yeah, I know this outlet there, or I know that outlet there. So it's given us a lot of leverage. It's given me a lot of leverage today, especially when the market is so competitive. The market is tough. So we've got leverage for many things, whether we lease or whether to be given opportunities, because people recognize the brand. So yeah, being brand focused is critical, I feel, now on hindsight, thinking back. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for sharing your insights. So that's from the F&B kind of perspective. So if may I direct the question to Mr. Brixton, as a consultant with vast experiences in the wellness industry, how has the retail scene in the industry changed over the years that you've been in it, and what future do you think it holds?
I think we are talking about digital now. You see, previously I worked with an Italian company. My job is to create protocols. I work with the chemists. I work with the marketing departments to create protocols, to train spa operators, to train salon operators in about 25 countries. And I think this couple of years, the last 5 years, we are moving towards more digitalized platform where you can do a booking, anything to digital way of doing it. Yes. So I can see the changing, the trend.
Okay. So, Miss Angela May, in recent years, many people lament about how Orchard Road has been getting a little bit boring, the retail industry has been really dampened. And so as a TV personality and chef, what made you decide to join the F&B retail industry, and as a restaurant owner in Orchard Road?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Even I'm wondering, man.
It's so tough. When Andrew actually invited me to come for this conversation, I was like, yeah, I want to speak to everybody else and hear everybody else's thoughts about this too. Like, how can we make this place more lively? What can we do? What else can we build on? Because I think when I got into this, I had moved away from Singapore for quite a while, so I was in New York. And when I came back to Singapore, every single time I come back, the landscape here is different. The people are different. The vibe is different. The way Singaporeans themselves have changed and evolved as well. So I didn't know what I was getting into for Orchard Road. Orchard Road has been like an icon for so long. Every tourist comes here, they have to walk and shop down Orchard Road, whereas now it's not the case. And there's so many enclaves around Singapore where you can get everything done. So I think that Orchard Road still has this appeal and this iconicness. And I think for my brand, it does suit Orchard Road. It's very feminine and light, and needs to have this kind of like shopping feel to it. But I don't know, I'm still terrified about the landscape. I'd love to see more things that were happening down here. I'd love to see people coming back, maybe having the parking cheaper as well on Orchard Road so that people don't complain about things. It's just, it's such a great place and there's so many options here, but you do have a lot of options everywhere.
Has the landlord in Orchard Road been very cooperative with your events over for Glasshouse?
Oh, well, I'm a special case.
Okay. Then cooking school has always portrayed itself as not just a pure cooking school, but also a place for entertainment. So what is your opinion of experiential retail in today's times, and how do you think is it important in today's retail industry?
We see the general trend from the shopping to more experiential and more activity-based services. And we've been doing this for more than 30 years. We've been doing this for 33 to 4 years. So we've seen the same trend and same transition happening in Japan and all the different places. So this is a really global trend which is simultaneously happening in all over the place. And I flew more than 100 times last year. So from the cities in Beijing, Shanghai, the Seoul and Thailand, Bangkok, Indonesia, everywhere we're seeing the same trend. We're having 150 outlets, so we are interacting with lots of shopping malls, and the tenant mix in all the shopping malls are changing. It used to be 80-90% just shopping, and big component has been the luxury. But now the restaurant F&B and the retailer, the goods retailer, is almost half and half, or sometimes it's upside down. But fortunately, this trend is supporting us because we have been doing this experience-based service for so long. And recently, we're opening a new shop in Westgate, which is also the case. They're massively changing the tenant from the goods retailer to F&B and experience space. So this suggests that the people want to spend more time and enjoy their life through experience space. And we cannot be static in serving the same service. We need to keep the pace with the customers' changing behavior, and we also need to continue to evolve and change ourselves.
Actually, I wanted to take up a course in your... yeah, because I love cooking and baking. Yes. We're talking about changing phase. For example, I'm from the... previously, I was from the spa and wellness industry. Now, for the last 3 years, I took on and I became the distributor for the dental devices. But I think Singapore is still a bit conservative. Okay, I went to Thailand. I went to some part of Vietnam. The dentists there are already thinking of how to integrate spa wellness into dentistry. See, and in the dental clinic, you can also buy spa products. You can buy retail products. So I think they are very progressive. I think this is something for us Singaporeans we should. I actually spoke to some of the doctors. Said, oh no, we're not there yet. Maybe 12 years. See who start first. Why not us?
Very good. Thanks. Thank you, everyone. I introduce myself first. My name is Andrew. I actually owns Atomi and Actors. And thank you, everyone, for coming, and all the speakers whom I very appreciate that taking their time out to join us in this little community where we can actually brainstorm ideas, exchange ideas on how to make Orchard Road a better street. It's something that I'm pretty passionate about. As Jane mentioned, we started the business about the same time, 9.5 years. Time flies, and before I know it, I still haven't ventured out Orchard Road yet. I'm still stuck on inventory in Orchard, where I'm doing all these things for the last 9.5 years, and it's some place that I think is still very charming. I think Brixton will know how Orchard has evolved. Being here for a long time, and the rest of us have vested interest over here. Angela is just directly opposite. Mr. Sensake is just next door. Jane is several parts of Orchard Road, from Isetan to Astor to Winslet House, and I used to go there for my coffee, pick me up before I come to the work. I still need a lot of coffee, still need a lot of food and all those things. But I think some of the things that Brixton had mentioned have triggered thought for me. It's like, why do we outsource Orchard Road blueprint to an Australian company? I feel that we can actually brainstorming the ideas internally within Singapore. I think a lot of business owners have taken up our position here. Why can't we brainstorm in-house? I think those are the things that I'm actually looking forward to see. What makes you take up a stake here? Why, when 2 years ago, why did you start in Orchard? And I think Escort was a year-ish.
About a year, yeah.
And ABC
Three
Cookies,
years
so
plus.
3 years. So maybe we start with 3 years first. Why Orchard Road at that time?
I think basically following our standard to try to open in the best location in the country, and it should be on the Orchard Road, either in Takashima or Ion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was a very good decision to come here, because after 3 years, the Singapore studio, our Singapore store is the best performing store in the world.
Oh wow, nice.
And because of this, we see so many customers come from Malaysia and Indonesia, and many people flying to our studio. And because of that, we had the opportunity to open in Malaysia and in Indonesia. And so for ABC, we originated in Japan, but by coming to Singapore and luckily positioned on Orchard, we had so many opportunities to be connected from here.
Nice. Maybe Angela, why?
I don't know. I find that interesting. I'm fascinated by that the Singapore place is doing better than anywhere else. And that's also interesting because if you had opened Westgate first, they wouldn't have that same kind of feeling.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be that iconic, and you wouldn't have gotten the tourists that were coming in from Malaysia and Indonesia. I think that's like a really key point of this conversation of what Orchard Road is to all of the visitors. But I think that everyone that's from Singapore as well has like fond memories of Orchard Road. I'm speaking about it as if it's dead. It's not. But this is like a super happening hub place, and I think that my brand is very feminine and very girly, and it's supposed to be very casual, place that you would go and linger and have great conversations with all of your friends. And Orchard Road is that for me. I mean, the entire time, like 20 years ago when I was coming back and forth in Singapore, all Orchard Road was going and sitting in front of a coffee shop and having a conversation, even if it was Crossroads, the only coffee shop that was there at that point of time. So it is a space that you don't need to be rushed in.
So how is it so far?
Oh, I'm always rushed. It's always hectic. Yeah. It's a little quiet. It's a little quiet.
So what would you like to see to spruce up Orchard Road?
It's so difficult because then when it's busy, everybody complains about the traffic for Orchard Road.
True.
And so it's never the magic moment where all of the stars have aligned, all of the guests are eating comfortably.
And the nice queue outside, the turn.
Oh, and everybody's standing in bliss in the queue. I'd be out in line giving away fairy dust.
It's not hot.
Yeah, it's nicely air conditioned. I don't know what I would like to see happen. Every day is Christmas for everyone.
Jin, I think you have the benefit of starting elsewhere first.
Yeah.
And what makes you decided to take the plunge?
I think in Singapore, Orchard Road still has a namesake. Also, because if you consider other plots or pockets of area, they're a much smaller space. Like Tiong Bahru is this size, or in the west or something. It's a smaller place. Whereas Orchard Road is by streets, right?
Mm-hmm.
From one end to the other, and as a size, it's big, so people know Orchard Road, and it still has its weight. It is not as bustling, but it still has its weight. So yeah, let's say if you open in Westgate first, then the success may not be as brisk. So it's similar for us. All our stores are in Central or Robertson Quay, and we have one now in Bukit Timah. But it's easier for people to recognize a brand. If I first open back in the suburbs, I may not be here today. Because they take up the expenditure power, or people come to town ready to spend, ready to enjoy a weekend out or an afternoon out. Whereas they may not be, if it's in your own suburban area, then maybe not as much. So to start, it's like if you go overseas, you go into a first tier city in China, you go to Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou, you won't go to immediately go to say, I don't know, Dalian or something, right? It's harder. You struggle a lot harder. Yeah. So it's for its namesake, it's like a slightly quicker express train. Yeah. That's how I saw it.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I think it's very similar why I started off in Orchard Road as well. In 2009, there was like Lehman Brothers crash, all the financial institutions were closing and there's a lot of foreclosure, and there I was, taking up a space in Orchard Road. I could still remember the first day of work, there was like a TV crew interviewing me, why is this crazy guy quit his job in the banking and then jump into retail. And but I remember going through all the various options around. At the time, I was given the option of Ion, and then there's Mandarin, there's Scott Square, and of course Marina Bay Sands as well. And I was spoiled with choice, despite being a new startup. And after that, I decided that if I want to be among the best, I got to be in Orchard Road. Like what Angela said, I have fond memories of growing up during the Christmas season, coming to Mandarin, taking up that gingerbread house, all those things, all the tiny, teeny memories, Center Point used to be so nicely decorated.
Oh yeah.
I miss those days where there's this thing called Swing Singapore. I'm not too sure how many people know, but there we have the government coming in with the heavy-handed on, no alcohol after 3 or by 12 and all the different things. I think we need to bring back the vibrancy. I don't know how many remember next to Phoenix Hotel there is a place where we can have hawker food. There's a car park there, and I'm revealing my age, but but those are the things where I like to see how Orchard will be actually to blossom. And also interestingly, Brixton, when you start Propel, I remember you launched it next door in my small tiny outlet. What was your thoughts? Why would you launch a brand?
Yeah, because we started the dental business, and usually for dental business it's good to do top down. So what we did was I asked Andrew, I have a class, I have a room of inviting 30 doctors. Would you be kind enough to lend me your space to showcase to launch our product? And Andrew said, why not? And then, after that we had 2 more seminars at your space, and it was a big thing for the dental industry, because the dental industry usually they have this kind of training, a very classroom
Staff
of doing, So, and then that's how we spread our name through Atomi in Orchard Road. I think that's the impact. That
I think one of the reasons why I invited Brixton over, even though he's not in the retail trade, is I'm very impressed by his teaching methods. As a master trainer for the Italian products, I remember he has been very advanced. Way before that, he used actually a video clip to actually train the different trainers in the various countries. He would make the effort to actually pick up the local language before flying to like China, Vietnam, Thailand, and I think those are that passion that we must see in the retail industry, the professional in the retail industry, and I think that's how retail is going to benefit from by learning from people who actually bothers to actually go the extra mile. It's not just beyond the smile, the products, the various P, but that professionalism in the retail industry.
I mean, that's how
maybe I can get Brixton to share with us
I
how
think
be a different trainer.
As the company international master trainer, as the master trainer, we always want to give something different. Coming from Singapore, we are in a multi language, different kind of religion. So every time when I go to this foreign country, I'll wear either a Chinese costume or I'll wear something Indian or something Malay, to conduct training to the Italian, to the Russian. Okay, I started my first 6 years of trainings in Europe, and then 10 years in this company, the last 4 years in Asian countries. So the interesting part is, and I love saga, saga seeds from saga trees, and I use that to create gifts, to give away for the participant after the trainings. And because of that, I want them to learn more about Singapore through saga seeds. and saga trees. And I also found there are a couple of saga trees along Orchard Road, just across the streets. And if you can see me sometime, I'm wearing shorts and a slipper, maybe back a few years ago, picking saga seeds by the road opposite Singtel, you see. So, as a Singapore, I want to promote Singapore as much as I could. And I think Orchard Road gave us the identity of Singapore in this way. Yeah, it's like Bangkok. Bangkok. Although they have a lot of fashion shops in Paragon, but Paragon Mall, shopping center. But again, they have their own identity. Like for example, if I say atomi, everybody knows it's a Mandarin gallery. So they kind of identity, ABC, right? See?
So, what do you think are the secret to the ABC cooking studio success in Singapore to make it one of the best performing studio in the world?
I think it relates to the characteristic of Singapore. The Singapore ABC team is the only team which has so many international background, meaning that we have some team members here. We have Japanese, we have Malaysians, we have of course Singaporeans, the Chinese, Taiwanese, some married to Korean people, and we also have the Indonesians and Myanmar and all different kinds of background, which doesn't happen anywhere else in the world for our company. Right? So we have 9 different operations, but Singapore is the only team that has so much diversity, and I think this giving us so much energy and drive to try new things. And one of the things that we are doing here, but not doing the other places, that we have so many collaboration with different companies, including Singaporean local companies and also the foreign or international brands, and that creates that gives us a new hint, and we are I think that enables us to give a new message and new freshness to our members to come back to our space.
Okay. Is Singapore the first country ABC expand overseas?
No. We started from China,
okay,
and that was very struggling 3-4 years, and then we did in Hong Kong. And Hong Kong was very nice because it was more open. But we came to Hong Kong is open to Western country and open to China, so that connects those two different worlds. But Singapore is connected to everywhere, and we found that Singaporeans and Malaysians working here is so quick in building the relationship with different people. That's very refreshing to me, and that gave us lots of hint to do the international relation.
Angela, what do you think, coming from US and the transition, first as a different career change, and then secondly, running an F&B business is tough work, to say the least. What are some of your?
It's been chaos. I think coming back to Singapore after being in New York for several years, what I had with me when I came back was so much New Yorker in me. There was so much passion and drive and energy, and I think that I put a lot of that into work and into the business. And I hope I'm not losing some of it. Now, because you're asking me these questions, I feel that I have lost a little bit of that New Yorkerness, like just not tippy-toeing around other people's feelings, which I do so much now. I'm very sensitive to others. I wanted to put more of that into the business and a lot of that drive. And also, part of the restaurant was also building a community of farmers. So I wanted to have relationships with a lot of farms that were in Singapore, so that I could use those farms in the restaurant. And that's been a huge challenge as well. But actually, there's a farm here on Orchard Road. And luckily, I have built a lot of relationships with the farmer. Comprop.
Yep.
Comprop, yeah. So there's a farm that's just on top of Scape, just behind. And so they're an open air hydroponic farm. And they also do aquaponics, so some of their plants and vegetables are fed just by fish waste. And so that's quite fascinating. It's not open to public, but you'll see them in farmers markets quite often. So yeah, building the relationship with the farmers and having a farm that was, 90 seconds away from the restaurant was awesome.
So Jane, if you would ask, will you start this all over again 10 years ago, what would you say to yourself if you would travel back in time?
Wow, where do I begin? What would I say to myself 10 years? Be focused. Be focused in building one thing. Because I wasn't hospitality or F&B trained. I studied design. Like in NUS, I did product design. So design people have design thinking. And they want things beautiful, things are done in a way. No, it cannot be any other way. Then there's business people. So moving from a design brain to a more business brain, it's almost at two ends. To you, you feel certain things are so important as coming from a design background. But really, over time, when you do business, you realize, actually, only you care about this thing. Nobody else really cares about it. Really, to you, it matters that, for example, that sticker is not my dog. I just don't like it. It is really ugly. I cannot have it. But the truth is, once you stick the sticker on, everybody else recognizes that sticker and they come in. But to you, it's the most ugly thing in the world, Yeah, so coming from a design background, moving to business, I've taken time and all the experience and that lesson learned. So if I know what I know now, back then, I think I could have been so much faster. Yeah, you're wiser at spending, you're wiser at making decisions. Back then I had 3 stores, all different design. 3 stores, different menu. Wow, struggle like hell, man. Yeah, now you go to the kids breakfast here, there, same, People don't go to one store and complain, why is there no Cajun eggs in this store? And you're like, trying to explain because it's a different concept and different menu, but then they're just upset. But you're trying to create variety, you're trying to create a different kind of space, different kind of experience for people. But no, I came here, I just want Cajun eggs. So things like that. Along the way, so I didn't build the brand with, initially back then, I didn't build it with the intention to explode all over the world. So now that I'm growing, I have to backpedal a bit. Yeah. So,
Good.
yeah.
Maybe it's time to open up to the floor for any questions. Anyone? Yes, please.
I have a question for Jane. So I'm new to Singapore, so I don't know all the history and background of everything yet. But I noticed in your Millennium Walk story, you had kind of an interesting concept that I haven't seen before, which is opening it up to work groups that are coming in. And since I'm also coming from the US, struggling to find a cafe where I can work on my computer in Singapore, I thought that was very interesting. So just wondering what's behind that experiment.
So we've created meeting rooms as well in Millennium Walk, Marina Square, Ascot. So basically it's, you book a room for breakfast meetings, there's a TV, you plug in your laptop, you can do a presentation, you can have weekly breakfast meetings with good coffee, good breakfast. We've also created space, basically if you have a table along a wall, there will be a PowerPoint. And it grew from the pain as being a barista, working behind the bar where customers can you just charge my phone for me? And I'm like, I don't mind, but I don't have a spare PowerPoint anymore. And they're like, oh, but you're not using the blender, right? I'm just like, okay. So I plugged out the blender, the juicer, the whatever, okay? Very fast. I just need like a little bit, 5%. Okay, so when you plug out enough things, right, you realize they really just want a PowerPoint. Really. Everyone's on a computer, everyone wants to charge a phone, So now, I just provide PowerPoints everywhere. Nobody has to plug out a blender anymore. So, we've created spaces for people to linger as well, long tables. For them. We also come from a place where there's always newspapers and a lot of magazines for people just to sit and read and enjoy the space. And so now apparently the branding out there is that Kith, it's got strong Wi-Fi, strong coffee. So yeah, and it's nice. So we have work groups who come every Monday. We used to open at 8 in Millennium Walk. And then every Monday there's a group of 10 or 20 people. Actually, I don't know what they do, but they'll always show up at 7:30 before we open. And they're like, if you don't mind, we'll just sit here. And they're all hacking away on their laptop. They don't talk to each other, not really. They just gather at 7:30 on Monday morning, sit in my shop, and everyone's hacking on their own computer. And then, you know, they will slowly set up. So eventually we're like, you know what, every Monday we'll just open at 7:30, okay? So we can get a coffee first. And so now we just open at 7:30 all the time. But yeah, they come in groups. To a certain extent, it actually, so indirectly created a in-between space for a lot of people. You're not really at home, you're not really in school, you are not really at work, but yeah, they are well connected, they have enough PowerPoints. Yeah.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, Wi-Fi.
Lots of coffee.
Yeah, we buy extra routers, you know, just to make sure Wi-Fi is good. Yeah. So yeah, we even make, you know what, when you have 8 shops, you make the Wi-Fi password the same in all stores. So they all know and every staff knows.
And the password is Cajun eggs.
So yeah, we're glad people enjoy the space. Yeah.
I think I would like to see that more because I also, you know, work remotely and I want to talk to people, but I don't want to go to a co-working space necessarily, right?
Yes.
So I like this concept a lot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Actually, I had my first dental meeting at your cafe.
Oh,
At
nice.
Park Mall.
Oh yeah,
Yes, Park
yeah.
Mall.
That's
Now
right.
they're already closed.
Correct,
First
yeah.
dental meeting.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, there were a lot of dentists upstairs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they moved to Orchard International Building.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Wow.
And I was thinking maybe we can do a team bonding for dentists at the ABC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do lots
We
of
always look for something creative for the dentists. Yeah. We had it at the cruise on the yacht.
Yep.
Party on the yacht for the dentist or something different. And, yeah, maybe in your cafe instead.
Yeah.
Stay.
We can get the guest chef to
Yeah.
share some of the recipe. Any other question? Alan?
Yeah, like there's something in the back of my mind. It's I suppose a slightly contrarian point of view around the Orchard Road system, if you will. And again, I have fond memories of coming to Orchard as well, and I was just hanging out at Far East Plaza, oddly enough. One of those guys. But also over time, I don't know how we can start to reinvigorate this zone and bring fresh memories into a younger generation. And again, this is the point made earlier on about the experience of shopping and retail and what we're trying to develop in store. Sometimes stores are the destination, no matter where they are. Right? And you know, when people build a story around that, and they will travel to that place because it forms now part of that collective memory for that spot. It doesn't matter where you're placed, or is it more important that you build that story with your brand and what you offer to your customers? And how do you rationalize those two?
Anyone?
I think you need both. You need to be good at both.
Yeah.
I think Orchard Road might have lost some of its crowd and all that because the other satellite suburban areas have also gotten developed. Back then when you're a kid, if you want anything, right, you have to go downtown to buy. The stores, you know, in your area is just not great. They didn't have great stores or many stores. So now, in the suburban malls, you have everything. You have the same thing that you find at Orchard Road Mall. So I find that if maybe Orchard Road could still be a leader in that sense to offer firsts in the country. You know, New York shopping experiences and things like that. It's still first, you know, and then it can trickle down to the suburban stores. Then it's identifying what is first. What is the new retail kind of experience, or what is the new shopping weekend experience that is concentrated just on Orchard Road to be trickled down eventually. Maybe that, yeah. Or facial recognition. Someone's speaking to me about it. It sounds interesting, but it's also very scary.
It
to
is,
me.
yeah.
I mean, he was like telling me how amazing it was. I was just sitting there, oh my god.
That's
I
your
don't even
Minority
dare-
Report.
Yeah. I don't know if I really feel like I would dare to step into space, but the whole shopping experience would be different. So yeah.
I don't, you know what I was thinking about? Because when you were asking this question, I was thinking about, well, what were people doing on Orchard Road before? Because now we don't have a lot of things that were here. Like people would gather at HMV. You know, people would gather at Spinelli's because that was all connected. That's where people were hanging
I
out.
was in the Spinelli.
Yeah, exactly. But now there's nowhere to hang out. Like, there's nowhere where you don't have to like shell out a bunch of money to just be with your friends, to like a meeting point or somewhere to potter around. So I don't know. Maybe it's because the nature of the industry now has taken out a lot of that. What would be the new gathering place? What would be the new HMV? Because you definitely don't go to buy discs anymore.
Yeah,
I almost said records.
Because coming from my background, spy wellness, I'm always looking for emotion experience if I shop. For guys, usually I just walk into Uniqlo and I know what I want to buy and get out.
Yeah.
But I was very impressed when I went to Pure. I was in the underground and I just bought a piece of $5 Singapore dollar cake. Okay, and just before the shop person handed it to me and she asked me, "How's the weather outside?" I said, "Oh, a bit drizzling." And she took it back. She rewrapped them again and gave it back to me. See, I'm looking for this kind of experience in Singapore, and I think we can do it if we want. And that would up our retail service, sales, and anything. Not just that, for your industry, even for a cafe as well. If you just look into these little details,
I think that's the exact thing that I was looking out for, the professionalism in raising everyone, in the whole industry, and also letting our staff actually experience what is good service. I think those are the parts that how we can further improve. And I know like Jane spent a lot of time on the HR capital as well, so it's everyone else who actually spend a lot. I think ABC Cooking Studio also very labor intensive kind of business model. So I think the training part of things are very important to the new retail experience. I don't think retail experience will be replaced by just a few clicks. It's like with Google Earth, do we stop visiting and stop traveling? No. We still want to experience up close and personal, to view, arouse our five senses and really experience, smell the coffees, have the food, do we want the microwave food and then just come up? Not necessary. Those are the things that we are looking out for. And back to Orchard Road, it helps me to choose which JC I go to. I still remember no offense to anyone from Temasek JC. Declare first, my sister is there. So I was queuing up at Temasek JC. And it was like 5 or 6 person about to submit my application form. Then I looked around, I was like, oh my god, all green. I'll be wearing green for the next 2.5 years in army. Do I want to put myself, extend another 2 years? Having the idea of in the same school as my elder sister, who is 1 year older. I said, nah. So I hop onto the taxi, and the first thing I told them was, Uncle, the taxi, the JC nearest to Orchard Road. And that's how he drove me to CJC, Clyde Junior College. And like Alan, I was hanging out in Far East, I was hanging out in Taka Square.
Did you tell your parents that's how you chose your JC?
It was on Tetler 2-3 years ago during the same period of time, but yeah, that's how I chose my JC.
Oh.
I didn't realize that from an army uniform I become an SBS driver because the blue color was like SBS bus driver. But yeah, we have a lot of fond memories. We hang out, and like what you say, it's not about spending a lot of money. I still remember sitting at the Taka Square, and before they have all the events, you will see chunks of various ACJC, CJ, and just hanging out there, spending afternoon away, talking, enjoying the air cons, and I was going to ABC, and I was telling my intern, used to have a library 2 story above ABC. We used to have a national library in Takashimaya as well. So we miss those times, where there's like libraries, there's a lot of services, like bowling alley in the shopping mall, village, whatever. But now it seems to be like just F&B and maybe retail, high-end retail on level 1, level 2, high street fashion. It becomes a bit jaded. We do see like shopping malls. I think they take the easy way out. Maybe it's the government for let's say, we want efficiency. So all the leasing manager just say, okay, if I'm hosting one in Center Point for North Point, okay, the same guys, I'm opening one in North Point. I just replicate the same story. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. So that could be one of our ways. But Orchard Road is so small. It's not like Japan, So I think there could be a lot space to be opened up as a zoning as well. I always feel that there should be more services, more zoning, relaxation of a bit of the rulings. We don't go to Bangkok and expect like everything to be lights off by a certain time. You go to Hong Kong because it's vibrant. At 3-4 a.m. you can go for your supper. At 6 a.m. you can go for your breakfast, your dim sum, so on and so forth. But over here it seems hard to take off. I don't know, is it because of the manpower? What do you all think? What do you want to see in Orchard Road? Maybe it's time to hear from the consumers and what are your wish lists?
Late night hangouts. Late night hangouts.
So right now, where would be the place?
I mean, the only place I noticed was like, I was excited because Don Don Donkey was open 24 hours. And there were tons of people shopping and hanging out.
Would you prefer to have a cafe there, a place where people can sit and
Just like more late night eats as well. Like that's open past like 9 or 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone? Maybe from Japan, what would you like to see that is different from Singapore and Japan?
Because I thought the Orchard is a place that attracts a lot of international tourists. So I think it would be great if there is any like really good place that like international tourists and also locals can hang out together, and maybe like a cafe or like anywhere that like people can drop by and interact together. I think that would be great.
I think it's
From Japan as well, and Orchard is often compared to Ginza.
Ginza.
But the thing is, what I miss in Ginza is the shop, so the restaurant called Shinise. Shinise is the old, very traditional. There's a weight in the history. Maybe in Orchard you have shashlik, and they almost closed. I went to the shop the other day, and my sons were very impressed. There's a weight in the history, the tradition, and those are the things that is lacking in Singapore, in Orchard, I would say.
Yeah. I think maybe to share a little bit of that, it's really hard to stay in one place. Too bad my landlord is not here, but it's really hard to stay in one place and not expecting the rental to go up in a phenomenal way.
It really forces us to go up.
Yeah. So those are the things. If I have a choice, okay, luckily I still have the choice to stay here for 9 years, probably another 3 years to go. But I've seen a lot of people, even just within this mall alone, besides this stretch of Mandarin Gallery, the rest have changed since day one. From the first floor to the second floor to the third floor, and even the other side, we used to have Jones the Grocer, and it's out. It's so hard to actually maintain that, and if you're doing well, the landlord will come and say, okay, I'm going to increase your rental by, 5, 10, it's not enough. 15, 20, 30%, Jane would be able to.
Yeah, we don't sign long leases in Singapore.
Yeah. And they don't actually appreciate loyalty. I have a friend who actually runs a bath and lock equipment in Plaza Singapura. Those things we call it Yao Han, Orchard Yao Han, and he's been there for 30 over years. But when the REITs took over, next thing you know is they're just going to up 20, 30% and off they go. So it's really hard, and from a F&B perspective, I don't know where would be the place that I remember fondly the Spinelli, you know,
Spinelli.
hanging out there, the McDonald's at Liat Towers or the Burger King, and you know it's gone. It's really hard to sustain a brand, I don't know, at one single location. Jane, we have both done relatively well in preserving the first unit.
Yeah.
But what are your experiences in?
I think you're still somewhat subjected to commercializing and yes, the landlord. So we always, for us in our business, whether it's our own staff, customers, or landlords, or suppliers, it's always about building good relationships first. So once the relationship is good, then things can be done easier. And everyone has a, you know, feels good about it, everyone's happy working, right? So with landlords, then it's also about that, building relationship. Also proving that why you deserve to stay here, why, you know, changing is may not be for the better for them, even though it's for dollar value. So far, my first store is still in the same place, at Robertson Quay. We moved further down. Yes, one greedy landlord kicked us out. Then I took a corner store, and the original store, we're having a tough time. So we're very happy in the corner store. This landlord appreciates us. We've been there. I'm a good tenant. It's easy. She doesn't have to worry. So along the way, it is still, you got to fight for your worth. You have to fight harder and harder and prove that you're worth being there. So it's not easy. The thing is, the market can go up and down, right? Which it has. Since 2009, it's gone up, and then it's gone down, and now we're crawling our way back up. The only thing that's standard is that the rents keep going up. It has never changed, right?
Yep, that's the gospel proof.
It is.
When there's haze, when Orchard was flooded, you know, I still remember those, not those days, just a couple of years ago, where once in 50 years, you know, I almost take out my canoe and just in front of, seriously, you can't see the first floor of Mandarin Gallery.
Oh. But yeah, the rent has
Crazy.
only
I wasn't here during that time.
Oh, you wasn't there?
No,
Yeah.
I wasn't here.
So we have been through times where haze, when it was like 500, 400, and we got to close, and but landlord will still continue to charge you.
Yeah.
SARS, no SARS, you know, all the different things. But is it because also consumer don't really go back to the same old coffee joint day after day, year after year? You know, I remember going. I mean, I still post. I go to a certain prawn noodle place in the east side religiously every week. From the father to the son, we still go there. But nowadays, do people always hop around? And because of that, that support is not there for the F&B. Do you see customers who are coming back?
Well, yes, but yes, I still get regular customers because they love being regulars, and I think that that's wonderful as well. But I feel that because there's so many restaurants now in Singapore and just so many choices that you don't have to go back to the same place. And if you get one tiny little thing that you might not like, it's off that day, maybe your server didn't smile enough, you might not go back ever again. I mean, it's just so difficult. It's difficult to win over hearts now because there's so many restaurants you can go and have great food everywhere.
My friend said there's no need to repeat a restaurant in Singapore. Every weekend she goes out with her husband for a meal. Every weekend is a different restaurant. They just try a new restaurant. So they only repeat if it's really so good. He says there's no need. Every weekend there's something new. And they can't finish their list. Yeah.
I think that's the part that it's really hard to sustain that particular model. I think Jane has correctly mentioned we have to keep evolving. Same as a retailer, I got to think about ways of how to reinvent the wheels and doing things like this, to connect, to listen to the consumers and get the feedbacks as well. And one of the things I'm quite impressed with ABC is they have a constant updating of menus and different cuisine as well. But do you find it hard to even sustain it? In Japan, how do you maintain that kind of
Yeah, we have the recipe development team in Japan, and they constantly updating the menus, and we kind of import that and try to implement here. But this keep renewing the menu is not, it just become boring at some point. If just keep updating the menus, but then the freshness will go down. So we try to create events, or we create a new course or new services, so that the customer feel that ABC is updating the menu as well as the new service. So recently we found out, I think some of us mentioned that the people are spending money on the traveling. We see many of our members traveling a lot, the young ladies, and we issued a ABC passport, which enables the members to travel across the countries, and they can go to ABC China or Japan, and they can learn the lesson in different language with the different people, but kind of the way how we do the class is same. So they can, it enables them to make the friends easily, and I think that kind of this kind of thing is a new add value for customers, and they give them the reason to belong to the community, and they
that's something that I really like, the passport, I think that first experience, and we all like to travel.
Because you're preserving the identity. Whether you're in Singapore, China, or Hong Kong, you still have that identity. I think maybe Orchard Road is losing a bit of that identity. Yeah. So I mean, I sometimes I travel a bit, so sometimes I compare Orchard to Bugis area. I think Bugis area is very vibrant. They have their own identity there. Or even Mustafa, the other area, that Little India area, it's very different. And when you say Mustafa, we all know where's Mustafa, and that whole stretch is like almost like 18 hours of shopping and that kind of thing. But back to Orchard Road, it's like, okay, we have Zara, and then we have. I'm sure you agree. Yes. So we're losing that identity. How can we think about it? Improve on that.
I appreciate this Andrew just hold this kind of session, which enables invite people in. So I think as a retailer, we can open up our space for a different reasons, just as you did for 7:30 in the morning on Monday. You open up the cafe for their temporary workspace. So,
and I think also Angela May has been taking part with Apple, the community.
Yes.
If you want to share with the rest, what you do.
Well, that was Apple's initiative, and that was quite cool. So they've been doing talks, and they're hosting a lot coming out of Apple, and so they wanted to have a restaurant that was just within walking distance as part of their community, to bring a team from Apple, and they had a photographer as well come with them, so that the people could learn how to shoot better food photos, because everybody now is a food photographer, because everybody lets their camera eat first. They don't even let their children eat, camera eats first. And so that was quite awesome. There's some beautiful photos that they posted on Instagram for that.
Yeah, I think that's something that I wanted to start as well, is to create a community where everyone come together to create a new experience. Dixon and everyone said, what is something first that's unique to this stretch of Orchard Road? But maybe I want to hear more from everyone. What else you want to see in Orchard Road? What are some of your wish lists?
So I was just listening about this whole session. So I realized we're saying a lot about experiences and about bringing people together. So to me, I think a retail experience for me, a lazy shopper, cannot be better than just clicking 5 buttons and then the next thing you know, boom, it's arrived in your door. That shopping experience that is so fast and efficient is great, and everyone is doing it, and you cannot deny it. So as a store or with a brick and mortar, you have to create an experience that people want to feel. They want to feel something with their friends or a community. That's why we hang out in Orchard Road. It's not about Orchard Road. It's just an environment. But we remember it because we had good times with our friends, right? And doing naughty things and all of that. So it's that those memories that you remember because you experienced and you felt something. So it is not so much about what you sell in the store per se. I'm very scared because I'm sitting in a retail store right now.
Nah, don't worry.
But I'm just thinking as a consumer, yes, you will walk and buy things, but people walk and then they go online and buy, right? I mean, I don't buy many things now, but that's what I hear. They see and then they see how much is it, okay, then they go online and check.
Yep.
And because shopping is so fast and it's an experience to shop online and that works, it's completely efficient. So then people like us in the mall and Orchard Road is really about how do you create a space or an experience where people can come together. So like his school completely works, right? It's experiential.
Sure.
Yeah, it's experiential. And that's what we need to create. Why do people come to kids? Because they come and their children can play. Or they remember drawing some cookies as a family or things like that. Remember the time when they used to study there. Then that memory, that is what you want to create. And it has to last. You remember those things that last. Because the McDonald's has been Liat Towers for the longest time. So we always go, someone in our lives have been there. Enough. And we remember, we know it. The Spinelli was there, the HMV was there.
Yep.
I don't know why I went to HMV. I never had money to buy a CD. But I'm always there. I'm just walking around and listening to new music. Just that. So it's an experience. Consumer must be made to feel something, to commit to memory. I think that's where we need to look at, I think.
Yep.
For me, I try to think out of the box a little because I'm in the dental industry again. So I'm trying to integrate maybe some retail products into the clinics because why? As a patient, let's say I wait for my doctors. I have let's say I have half an hour's waiting. While waiting for the doctors, my emotion starts to come out. Stress level starts to rise. And whether this doctor can do my implant good, whether my teeth will be in place and all that kind of thing. So why not I can shift the focus to the corner where I can sell some spa products or maybe some cutlery, also to up the service of the clinics, something like that, to help them to de-stress. We are talking about, in the clinic situation is very stressful. You agree, right? So maybe using that experience to divert their attention, so they can use that little moment. They can purchase some small little things for their loved ones, and then before going to the operation theater. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm always thinking of something different, not just the the ordinary or not just those walk-in retail store, departmental store, but bringing this into a clinic situation. So I met some dentists in Bangkok, some dentists in China. They're very experimental. They say, hey, why not? We do spa related, we do retail related, we do anything related, food related, hair related to dentistry. To up the service.
Yep.
Yeah, to up the experience, emotional experience I mentioned just now.
Absolutely. I think it's always about creating memories, creating that touch point that, why we come down to Orchard. We can spill out all the brands that we remember fondly. I think it's like there's always a revival. You see all those sell-by singers always come back to Singapore and then charge ridiculous price for air supply and all those staff, museum and all those things. So I think those are the parts that how can we create that memories, how we break out the mold. And I like how Brixton was saying, be different.
Maybe next time we can have our meeting or tea session in a clinic.
Yep.
Dental clinic, why not?
Exactly.
Something different.
So something different.
Yes.
I think with the time in mind, I would like to wrap it up today on what's
We have
going
a couple
on.
of business owners over here, so maybe before we end, we would like to invite Adeline from E2I to share about some funding options. Adeline, please.
Hi everyone.
I just post here.
Sure.
So my name is Adeline. I'm from E2I, Employment and Employability Institute. Firstly, we are not government. Okay, but what we do is that we get government's funding to help local SMEs. I'm not going to stand between your tea break or your networking session. It's just behind with all the beverages and refreshments, so it's going to be a quick 2-minute sharing. So what we do is that we help local SMEs like yourself. If you are willing to help your workers in terms of productivity, let's say for example they have productivity challenges, like we always hear manpower is an issue. So automation, equipment, tools and software can help, potentially help. Your local Singaporean staff or Singapore PR staff, you're willing to help them, we are here to assist you in terms of productivity funding. That's called IGP, Inclusive Growth Program. We also have trainings for your Singaporeans, Singapore PRs. So if you have identified some trainings that will be beneficial for your staff, come to us. We have those training funds. We also have placement in terms of, let's say your hiring needs, you need manpower, you have certain vacancies. Let us know, fill us in, then we have all the job seekers, because we, back end, we also help job seekers, Singaporeans and PRs in terms of job referrals, so we can do all these things. But to find out more, drop me an email. You know Andrew, your link here. He's our ambassador. Okay, we've got quite a number of projects here. Some of the speakers here actually have projects with us as well. So I'm sure we can help a lot more for you in your stuff. Okay, so feel free to approach me after this session. I will be more than happy to share with you my email address. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For this, I'd like to thank our speaker again with a little token of appreciation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have to close the picture.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Good to see you again. We met in Japan by giving a talk previously. And he's been a good supporter of our chairs. Thank you. Brixton, thank you always. We have some banana cakes that is actually baked by Brixton as well, so have a try. And thank you everyone for coming. Have a small little gift here, and there's also other vouchers and little takeaways for you as well. Thank you very much.
Me for your voucher.
Look for her for the voucher. Please get the little gift from Keith, and we also have Angela May kindly brought us some snacks as well and a drink. So please help yourself and mingle around. Thank you so much. Oh yes, yes.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Let me take one shot too. 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Oh, you can show.